Welcome into the Farzy Show, everybody, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com, coming to you live from the Steven Singer Studios. I saw something yesterday that I have to bring up right now. I saw somebody hail a cab yesterday, and it took me a second to realize what that person was doing. And I'm driving, and I thought they were waving to me. So I immediately, just because somebody was hailing a cab and waving, I thought they were like trying to signal that like my headlight was out or something like that. And I was like, what is that person doing? Why are they doing what they're doing? I don't want them to wave to me. I know I don't have a headlight out. I know nothing's going on. And then I looked at my rearview mirror and I actually saw a cab pull over. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. People still do that. That's incredible. What a world we live in. And then I thought about something else. For some reason, I went right to spring training in my head after that. And I thought, oh, maybe that person's going to the airport. And then they had a bag with them. And I was like, oh, maybe they're going to spring training. Maybe they're going to go down there and see Bryce Harper take some BP. Maybe they're going to go down there and enjoy the crack of the bat, the pop of the mitt. Maybe they're not like me. Maybe they haven't been ruined by a lockout. Maybe that's their deal. I hope it is. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. But yesterday I went back and I listened to something, and I talked about it on the show yesterday. I talked about Bryce Harper trying to put it out there that he wants the Phillies to sign either Kyle Schwarber, Kris Bryant, or Nick Castellanos. I've explained to you that I've had a man crush on Nick Castellanos for a long time. I've explained to you that I'd really like to see Kris Bryant in the Phillies uniform for all the problems he could solve defensively. I also said that I'd like to see Kyle Schwarber here in Philadelphia, considering that man can still hit some home runs and still gets on base at an alarming rate. And both Bryant as well as Kyle Schwarber have won World Series, so they're pretty good at baseball. I would love them both here. But yesterday, when I talked about Bryce Harper wanting either of those three players to come here to Philadelphia, I made it sound like he was out there for a demand. Like he was telling Dave Dombrowski, he was telling John Middleton to go out there and make sure that one of those three players is here in Philadelphia to solve their left field or center field or even third base problems in the city of Philadelphia. But what I left out of that conversation was something that I had to go back and listen to. Because before I had read the quote, and I saw what Bryce Harper had said, and I immediately attributed it to, or rather compared it to other things that he has said about bringing players into Philadelphia or re-signing players to keep in Philadelphia, such as JT Realmuto. And what I heard didn't exactly make me feel all warm and cozy. Didn't give me the tingles. Didn't give me the butterflies as I hoped it would. It was more of a passive line from Bryce Harper to say, it's up to the front office, when normally he doesn't say that. Like after he talks about how the Phillies need to improve their farm system and they need better prospects, younger prospects, he doesn't go, but I trust the front office. No. Or he doesn't say, hey, sign JT Realmuto, but I trust the front office to do the right thing. No. He makes the statement and then he says, deal with it. This was not a deal with it moment. So we'll get into that conversation today. We'll talk about Kyrie Irving. Good God, y'all. The Brooklyn Nets, when they have their full team, and that does not include Ben Simmons, but when they have their full team, are really good at basketball. And they dropped 150 points, 60 of those belonging to Kyrie Irving. I believe 41 of those in the first half. That's pretty good. And they did it against the Orlando Magic, a team that the Sixers had to take into overtime in order to beat. So that's fun. We'll get into that conversation today. Alexander Ovechkin had a nice little goal for himself yesterday. Historically speaking, that was a big deal. Jason Stark weighed in on the whole offseason issues with the Phillies and what they could do in the not-too-distant future when he was a guest to Mike Missinelli yesterday. Mike Tyson gets mentioned on the show today, so you don't want to miss that. And Deshaun Watson news is running amok right now in the NFL. According to the latest reports, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, the Cleveland Browns, and the Carolina Panthers are now the front runners to land Deshaun Watson. According to ESPN, this is how the whole thing is going down. If you want to talk to Deshaun Watson, you got to present a trade package to the Texans, to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, they got to go, okay, we like this. Deshaun, you can talk to these guys, try to work out, your own thing, and then we'll approve it. We'll approve the conversation, essentially, is what has to happen between Houston and those four other teams that I mentioned. But here's the thing. Watson apparently wants to be, not in Philadelphia, as that's become known for a while now, not in Philadelphia, but wants to go to the Atlanta Falcons, who already have Matt Ryan, but Deshaun Watson apparently was a ball boy for the Falcons, which they didn't know until yesterday, and would really like to be there in Georgia. Okay. Let's think about this for a second. You already have Matt Ryan, so he would have to be moved. There's no way he's going to stick around thinking that Deshaun Watson's already coming in. I mean, if Baker Mayfield is going to write a letter, if you will, on social media to the city of Cleveland like he did yesterday about the possibility of him no longer being the franchise quarterback there, then you better believe Matt Ryan is thinking, yeah, I ain't doing this either. See ya. I'll go elsewhere. So that's probably where they're at right now. Now, Deshaun Watson wants to be in Georgia. As I said, he wants to be with the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see if they can actually work out a deal. Falcons apparently are the front runner. Then our own Gary Cobb locally puts it out there yesterday. G. Cobb with you says that Deshaun Watson most likely will end up in Carolina as they really, really want Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. Teams like Cleveland, teams like the Saints are just kind of out there saying, hey, we're going to keep monitoring the situation, but at least they're teams that have been approved already by the Texans to make a deal for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson not wanting to be here in Philadelphia has already made the Texans probably green with envy when it comes to the trade package that the Philadelphia Eagles could offer for the upcoming season and not first-round picks through the years. Texans, I'm sure, would like those picks as soon as possible. They'd rather have teams pay up front, if you will. Like everybody would rather you have it. Pay up front. Give us a deal now, as opposed to us waiting for picks over the course of a few years. So I'm sure that the Houston Texans are not too happy about the idea that Deshaun Watson does not want to come to Philadelphia. But now they're going to have to basically wait and be patient for any picks to come in from any other franchise because nobody else can give the Texans what they want more so than the Philadelphia Eagles right now. So sucks to be the Texans, and then at the first time it sucks to be the Texans. But if he ends up in Atlanta, that would be incredible. As they came in from the top rope yesterday to say that they were actually a sleeper team to land Deshaun Watson. But here's my theory on that. I don't think he ends up in Atlanta. I think Deshaun Watson wants to go to Atlanta more so than Atlanta wants him in Atlanta. Now, that might seem bonkers considering how old Matt Ryan is now, 36 years old. So for me, looking at this situation from just an outsider's perspective and given the way that Atlanta radio has reacted to this and Atlanta media outlets have reacted to this, I don't think that he actually ends up there. I think this is more a one-sided thing from Deshaun Watson trying to force the issue that that's where he wants to go. If push comes to shove, I think the team he does end up with, I'm actually with my man Gary Cobb on this. I think push comes to shove, he ends up with the Carolina Panthers. I think that's where he'll actually end up playing the future, for the not too distant future here of his career. So that's where I think all that shakes out. I know some people in Philadelphia still want to see him here. Now, here's my issue with the Philadelphia situation and Philadelphia wanting him. Blanket statement. If Jalen Hurts is not your starting quarterback next year and Deshaun Watson is your starting quarterback next year, congratulations, statement of fact, you have upgraded that position. Everyone here, excuse me, would have a lot more confidence in the starting quarterback position of the Philadelphia Eagles if that was manned by Deshaun Watson starting next year. I still wouldn't make the deal. I think that the Texans would have overcharged you. All this is moot at this point, but I just want you guys to know where I stand on this because we haven't gotten into this aspect too much. I don't want Deshaun Watson. I'd rather have another year of Jalen Hurts, see how that works out, keep your picks, make 2 selections in the first round of this upcoming draft, take a quarterback later in this upcoming draft, and trade one of your first-round picks to next year so you can hedge your bets as to whether or not Jalen Hurts is the guy or not in Philly. I don't want to blow away these first-round these three picks. And I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to be a wildly successful playoff-winning quarterback in his career in the postseason in the NFL. I just do not see that for him. I think a lot of his stats come fourth quarter. They come by comeback. And I think he's a very talented quarterback and all that. And I'm not disagreeing with any of those statements. I think he's very talented. But when it comes to a guy to win in the playoffs, I want to see if Jalen Hurts can grow into that this year as opposed to now to bring Deshaun Watson here anyway. Now it looks like the Eagles are not in the final 4 for Deshaun Watson, But as of right now, you never know when things could change, but it seems like they're down to the final four right now. And from those four teams, Deshaun Watson will choose as to where he wants to go. So that's where that whole situation plays out. The next order of business when it comes to the Eagles and what they could be doing next, I know a lot of people right now are really excited about what Myles Jack can bring to the table here in Philadelphia. Free agent released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, another linebacker, another guy that can play on the right side, another edge rusher, if you will. You bring him in along with who you've already brought in Hassan Reddick. And by the way, people were just going nuts for Hassan Reddick yesterday, and I loved every second of it. That was everybody, I think, had the same reaction that I had, and I explained it yesterday. I just looked at my phone for a second and said, this is impossible. No way this is true. Oh, it was true, baby. He's here in Philadelphia. Now, people are, maybe the Eagles are now, maybe they're looking at linebackers. Maybe they can persuade Bobby Wagner to come here to Philadelphia. Maybe they could say, don't go to Dan. You don't want to go to Dan Quinn. You don't want to go to a guy you already know so well down there in Dallas. Don't go to the Cowboys. Instead, come to Philadelphia. I'm not going to be holding my breath for that. Although I'd love to see it. He's going to be 32 by the time the season starts. Turns 32 in the summer. Still love to see him patrolling the middle of the field for the Eagles. We all know Alex Singleton, most likely not coming back. Possibility he comes back at a cheaper price. We'll see how that works out. But we're going to see how that comes together. But when it comes to this particular deal, for bringing in a linebacker, I know a lot of people want to see Myles Jack before they want to see Bobby Wagner. It's more likely, not that it's likely, but I'd say it's more likely that they bring in Myles Jack before they bring in Bobby Wagner, simply because Bobby Wagner wants to be there in Dallas anyway. But yeah, I would lose my mind if all of a sudden the Eagles became linebacker happy. And they did it under the behest, the tutelage, and the pushing, I guess, of Jonathan Gannon. You imagine if Jonathan Gannon was the guy all of a sudden saying, yeah, we're going to get some linebackers in here. I need linebackers as soon as you imagine Jonathan Gannon is the guy. I mean, let's not forget. This guy was getting head coaching consideration after 1 year as a defensive coordinator. So maybe he actually does have some pull. I'd be amazed if that's what the Eagles, if that's the direction they went in this offseason. And instead they used the draft to address defensive line, and they used the draft to address even offensive line, but not linebacker. I'll be amazed. And quite frankly, I would love to see it because we all want to see that defense bolstered big time compared to what it's been last year. Really what it's been over the not too distant future here. But especially after 1 year of Jonathan Gannon running this defense, excuse me. So that's where we're at right now in the world of football. That's where I stand with Deshaun Watson. That's where he stands right now in the NFL. That's where I stand with the linebacker position. Hey, if you can continue to bolster your linebacking core, by all means, please do it. Sean Bradley is getting a lot of consideration for getting more reps in the upcoming season. I hope to see that, but I also hope the Eagles continue to build by looking outside the organization as they did with Hassan Reddick, and hopefully they're at least doing right now by kicking the tires on maybe Myles Jack or even Bobby Wagner to monitor that situation. This brings me to baseball, and I'm saving the basketball for last because, quite frankly, I just don't have it in me to go back to the Sixers right now with how they've hurt my heart. But I'm hoping tonight is a get-right game against Cleveland Cavaliers. But here's what I got for you in the baseball world. I mentioned this at the top of the show. Bryce Harper was being interviewed in his locker 2 days ago. Yesterday, I referenced it. And I referenced how Bryce Harper is saying he wants one of the three big names out there in Castellanos, Schwarber, and Bryant. Bryant's my number one guy on that. Right after that is Kyle Schwarber. Then right after that, Nick Castellanos. Apparently, the Phillies are looking at Schwarber more than anything, according to Jason Stark. I'll let you hear from him in just a second. But Harper, tell me if I'm wrong here in the chat, please. Harper kind of hedges his own bets. He doesn't make the definitive statement that we're so used to Bryce Harper making in his career, at least when he's been here in Philadelphia, about going out and getting that guy, about leaning on the front office to do the right thing and sign JT or get better prospects in your farm system, whatever it might be. Here's Bryce Harper, the rest of his quote. This is from Phillies.com. When it comes to signing any of the big three that I just mentioned, here's how he responded. Really, here's how he ended his comments about signing one of those three players.
That's for Dombo to figure out, for him to, give us the best ability for, us to win. And, you got to put your faith and trust in, Dombo to do that. So I never second guessed him. He, like I said, he's a proven winner everywhere he's gone. And, I put my faith in him to do what's best for our team and give us the best chance to win.
Don't trust Damo. Don't trust Damo. Dave Dombrowski. Don't trust him. I trust you, Bryce Harper. I trust you. As I have said before, I think you have taken the reins as the leader of this team. And it has to happen at some point when Bryce Harper takes over from a guy like Rhys Hoskins. Like, Rhys Hoskins is not the best player on the team by any means, but he's the guy that came up through the organization, and we all know what he did when he started out. And he knows a lot of guys came up with him in the organization and all that, and that's wonderful stuff. But when he was out last year, I believe the team officially went in a very small capacity, almost like when Bobby Abreu got traded, and this became officially Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Ryan Howard's team. A similar thing, not at all the same thing, but a similar thing happened when Rhys Hoskins missed the last month and a half of last season. This became Bryce Harper's team. He did that on the field. He won the MVP award. He got this team to within 6 games of first place, possibly winning the division behind a team that actually won the World Series in the Atlanta Braves. Now Bryce Harper has to try to coax the front office into making a move that will keep him at least at that same level. At least at the same level as to what they were last year when they were at least competitive in the latter stages of the season. Did they make the playoffs? No, absolutely not. They did what they always do, and they collapse in September, unfortunately. But if you go out there and get one of those 3 guys to fill a pretty big hole, like imagine for a second going from Andrew McCutcheon, who I love, everyone loves, he's great, wonderful, Uncle Larry, whole thing. But he wasn't going to give you the production of a Nick Castellanos, a Kyle Schwarber, or a Kris Bryant. Imagine going from Odubel Herrera, who, yes, I know, has signed a 1-year deal for whatever reason, I don't know. But imagine going from that to Kris Bryant of center field. Much rather have that. And I'm hoping the Phillies do that. And I don't think they're going to do that without the pressure of Bryce Harper. And I don't like Bryce Harper being like the good little choir boy at the end of that. Like, I just played for you. Oh, we got to trust Dave. Dave will do it. I'm not going to tell him what to do. Dave's great. Dave's won everywhere. He knows what he's doing. No, he doesn't. Not as well as Bryce Harper does. Enter the saving grace. Hall of Fame baseball writer, Jason Stark. One of my favorite people you could ever talk to about sports in general, but especially baseball. He goes on with Mike Misnelli yesterday, and he talks about the Phillies' intent, as well as Kris Bryant's intent with this free agency period and spring trading underway. Listen to what Jason Stark has to say about the future of Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, as well as Kris Bryant, and how it relates to Philadelphia.
The 2 guys that they like the best, I think without any question, are Kyle Schwarber and Kris Bryant. Your boy Kris Bryant. Because go back to what Dave Dombrowski said after the season about what he was looking for. He's looking for guys who have won, guys who can make an impact on the room, and guys who can make a difference, hopefully in the middle of the order, but in Schwarber's case, probably at the top of the order. I personally think Kyle Schwarber is their guy, and it's not close. And it really wouldn't surprise me if they go over and above what any team is willing to offer to make that happen. If not, look, I don't think Kris Bryant wants to be in Philadelphia, and I think they know that. Nothing would shock me. They need to make a big move because look what the Mets are doing. Look what the Braves did today. There's a lot of pressure on a win-now nucleus without a lot of system help and not enough depth to make a big difference-making move. This has to be the move. It's got to be Schwarber, Bryant, Nick Castellanos, somebody like that.
So what I take away from that is Schwarber obviously is the apple of their eye, according to Jason Stark, and I think he would know. And then really, if they could get any of the big 3, they'd be happy. But Kyle Schwarber is the guy that they really, 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 really like. What I don't understand is how Kris Bryant doesn't want to play in Philadelphia. Does he already think it's Bryce Harper's team and there's no taking it from his boy, Bryce Harper, who used to take batting practice in the backyard with his Mr. Harper, the guy that's built like a brick you-know-what house, that intimidating fella? Check your ID. No, see ya. Like, that's what he looks like. Looks like a bouncer. Apparently, that he doesn't want to play in Philadelphia. If Bryce Harper can't sell Kris Bryant on Philadelphia, then I'm going to go ahead and assume Kris Bryant and Philadelphia are not going to be a mix. And as much as I hate to say that, I always heed the advice of, and I even made a reference this yesterday, but I always go back to this. what Trey Thomas always would say. Philly ain't for everybody, and everybody ain't for Philly. And maybe Kris Bryant's one of those guys that ain't for Philly. I think Kyle Schwarber, I think if you play in Boston and you dealt with those guys, and I say this with respect, not a Boston fans, believe it or not. If you could deal with that, you could deal with us. You could deal with the crowds at Fenway, you could deal with CBP. I look, if you sign any one of those three guys, I'm happy. That's a big upgrade for the Phillies, considering what they've had over the last couple of years, whether that be in left field, center field, or even at third base, excuse me. So for me, I'm very happy with any one of those three. I think Schwarber and I think Kris Bryant are the guys that they're going to target the most. I really like Nick Castellanos. I would love to see what he can bring to the table here in Philadelphia. But I think when it comes down to it, I think it's going to come down to either Schwarber or Bryant. But if Bryant doesn't want to play in Philly, that's just amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. But look, I think with what Bryce Harper did last year, the Phillies need to only build on that. And I don't think they do it as currently constructed. I don't think they do it by adding bullpen help, although that's great. Love it. We all know how important that is. Brad Hand and Familia and all that. That's great. And Knable, of course, in the back end of that bullpen as your closer, as they've already acknowledged he is the closer. So for me, they've done good stuff with the bullpen. They're not getting over that hump until they add to this lineup. And that's not just going to be with the DH of Alec Boehm or Rhys Hoskins or Veerling, however they do it. That's going to have to be by a big bat added to this lineup. And I love the idea of Kyle Schwarber batting in the top end of this order. That'd be fantastic. Love the idea of Kris Bryant hitting in the middle of this with Nick Castellanos. But for me, I think if you get Bryant or you get Schwarber, you're talking about game-changing players for this lineup and this organization, and possibly guys that have, won a World Series that could come in here and teach the rest of these guys what they need and what it takes to win the ultimate prize in baseball. And that would turn a lot of people's heads and put the proverbial and literal butts in the seats at CBP in the middle of the summer and where it's going to matter most in September. And no matter what the Phillies have done, even with Bryce Harper, by bringing in another manager with Joe Girardi, they have not been able to win in September. And it has been their curse over the last 10 years in this city. Give us playoff baseball. You get Bryant, you get Schwarber, you get Castellanos, you're going to make the postseason, especially with it expanded because it's not as special as it used to be. But whatever, you're going to get postseason baseball. So let's cross our fingers and go out there and make that kind of move. Hey, the Nets are really good at basketball, and I hate that. And they scored 150 points, as I said earlier, against the Orlando Magic. That's a team that, if you remember, the Sixers needed overtime to beat. That was a team that the Sixers needed 41 minutes. 41 minutes from Joel Embiid on the floor and overtime to win. And that was before they played the back-to-back, returned home to play the second leg of the back-to-back against the Denver Nuggets, and then ended up losing that game. I think the Sixers have a get-right game today when they tip off with the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight in Cleveland. They're on the road. There's a tough stretch of games here for the 76ers, a bunch of playoff teams on that list. For me, I'm looking at this as a get-right game tonight. I don't want to hear anything after this game about struggling with transition defense. I don't want to hear anything about guys being tired and daring to mess with Doc Rivers' rotation. I don't want to hear any of that. I want the team that I saw tip off before they played the Brooklyn Nets. I want the team I saw 3 games ago before they went on to face the Nets, the Magic, and then the Nuggets. I don't want the team that I've seen over the last 3 games. I don't want the excuses. I don't want the explanations after the game. I don't want any of that. Get back to being the team that we saw through the first 5 games where everybody was playing together. James Harden, I don't need you to shoot like 5 for 7 from beyond the arc. I'd love to see it. I'm not counting on it, but I don't need that from you. I will take 3 for 10. I'll take 30%. As long as you keep on shooting, because I know that 2 of those 3 threes that you make are going to be in crunch time like they were against the Magic. I know you're going to step up in those situations. A lot of people don't have confidence in you. I got confidence in you. Keep shooting. Joel Embiid, give me those 35 to 40 minutes. Like, I don't even want you playing late in the fourth quarter. This is the type of game I want against the Cavs. I don't even want you playing late in the fourth quarter. I want you to get as much rest as possible between now and the postseason. And we're in the postseason where they have no back-to-backs, mind you. I want you to have as much rest as humanly possible. This game tonight for the Sixers must be a get-right game where you erase the last 3 games you played, you jump out onto the court, you have Tyrese Maxey out there in your starting lineup still, you stagger that enough where I don't think it matters if he's coming off the bench or not, and you have this team go out there and do what they did in the previous 5, or really before the 3 games that you just saw. That's what I want to see tonight. I want to see Joel Embiid continue his MVP form. I want to see James Harden run this offense and run it well. I want to see Tyrese Maxey hit some outside shots for you, dribble, drive, penetration, all that great stuff. I want to see Tobias Harris get you 15 points tonight, 15 to 20 points. That's what I want to say. I don't want to see any. I don't want to hear after this game another thing from James Harden about how they got their asses kicked or they couldn't get their asses back on transition defense. I don't want to hear any of that. I just want to hear this is how we should play every night. That's what I want. That's an example of how we can play every night. That's what I want to hear after tonight. I don't feel like that's too much to ask either. I feel like that's just enough. That's where I'm at with the Sixers. By the way, I saw some people take this the wrong way because sometimes people just read a headline. I didn't blame, for the record, I didn't blame Joel Embiid for losing. My point yesterday, when they lost to the Nuggets, was the fact that Doc Rivers, who I'm out on, by the way, in case you didn't catch that yesterday, I'm out on Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers bringing up the fact that Joel Embiid got tired, and that messed up his rotation. That was the point I was making yesterday for like the 1 or 2 people that didn't get it. I just want to make sure that was abundantly clear. So please, that's where I'm at with that. There's one more thing I wanted to get to in this open here. I was going to save this for our morning rush, but I figured what the hell. Before we get into our chat check today, Mike Tyson, ladies and gentlemen, apparently is in the weed business. I didn't know that. And Mike Tyson is selling edibles now. I saw this come up in my feed yesterday, and honestly, throughout everything I've talked about, this has been on my mind. Lad Bible put this out on social media yesterday that Mike Tyson's weed company is making edibles shaped as bitten ears. Not just ears, folks. Bitten ears. So now, inspired by, obviously, Mike Tyson biting the ear off of Evander Holyfield 25 years ago, I believe it is, 25 years, 25th anniversary of that happening, which I watched live during a heavyweight championship fight. Apparently, Mike Tyson is now looking to profit off that thing. I hope Evander Holyfield is getting some kind of compensation for this. I don't think he is. But Mike Tyson was tweeted after saying these ears actually taste good. So that's nice. In case anybody was wondering, Evander Holyfield's ear did not taste good. But Mike Tyson says that these edible pot ears taste good. So there you go. Enjoy that, everybody. Just in case you guys are into the old edibles, Mike Tyson's got pot ears, folks, with a bite mark in them, for authenticity's sake. I swear, everything I said in the first half hour of the show was just me trying not to get into the pot ears. And before I got to the morning rush, I just had to mention that. So for the people that want to accuse me of smoking pot all the time, which I don't, maybe I'll get into edibles. By the way, for those that are old enough to remember that, I remember watching that live. My dad went through a big phase of like ordering the pay-per-view fights, like the big fights and all that stuff. And I remember watching it, and I remember seeing Tyson's mouth go over the ear of Evander Holyfield. And I remember thinking, is he messing with him? Like, what was it Lance Stevenson blowing in the ear of LeBron James? Like, was he trying to get in his head a little bit? And then you see Holyfield react like, holy God, he just bit my ear. And then I laugh about it now. I just remember staring at the TV going, what the hell's going on? And then he did it again. He did it twice. He bit his ear twice. Well, the other ear. And the second time was like, oh, he really bit his ear. Oh, my God. And now it's a pot edible. And what the amazing times that we live in. Amazing times that we live in. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about the great people at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com, and my man, Mike Seibert. Mike Seibert's going to be a guest in the not-too-distant future, by the way. I was hoping I could get him over the weekend. I ended up getting sick, and just my weekend was botched. But ladies and gentlemen, Mike Seibert is the man. When it comes to retirement income, oh, my goodness gracious. Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional and is a financial advisor for the Eagle and Sixers fan only. Everybody else need not apply. Hit the bricks. His firm, Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Destination Retirement LLC is a full-service planning firm and a partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation and distribution years. What's the difference? A lot. Have you figured out how much money you're going to need per month when you retire? How much of your retirement income would you like guaranteed no matter what? Do you want to protect any assets from downside market risk? And do you have a written plan? If you got questions, if you need answers, if you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He's usually charging about just under $2,000, so act now for this special offer for listeners of this show. You can plan to show Mike. He'll put a plan in place for you that will help offset your retirement expenses and also help you with a volatile market and help minimize taxes. With over 30 years of experience in the financial game, Mike Seibert is a seasoned veteran and is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans get to and through retirement. You can reach Mike at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035, or visit destinationretirement.com. That's destinationretirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement. Then to sign up for this newsletter. He'll get back to you and talk to you about how he can help. Go Birds, and as always, play the song. How about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers? Do what I do, folks, when it comes to all your big jewelry purchases. Trust my man, Steven Singer, with the perfect price every day. Promo code? Don't need it. Coupon? Forget about it. Sale? Sale's always going on with the perfect price. That's Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Here's what I like to do. You walk into Steven Singer, you know you're going to get treated like family. Peruse all the beautiful inventory, and a real jewelry expert will walk you through everything, and you can feel comfortable the entire time because things aren't marked way up like at other jewelers where, okay, if I just say the right thing, if I just negotiate a little bit, maybe I get a couple hundred, but no, everything's already set at the perfect price. Oh, is that guy over there paying more than me, paying less than me? They're a better negotiator. No, you don't got to worry about that. You just relax, sit back, and enjoy all the beautiful diamonds, sparkling, glistening, as you pick out the perfect piece of jewelry for that special someone in your life. Got a birthday coming up for that special someone? Steven Singer Jewelers has you covered. Like I said, you get walk through by a real jewelry expert every time you walk in there, and they make you feel comfortable with the perfect price every single day. Steven Singer Jewelers, one place, one price, the perfect price every day at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. IHateStevenSinger.com. Let's jump into, ladies and gentlemen, our friends at Rothman Orthopedics. Remember the old you? The one that didn't have to put up with the fickle knee, finicky hip, or shoulder, and that no longer does what a shoulder should do? The Rothman approach to orthopedics is here to get you back to being you. Back to running, walking, working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the amazing people of WinView? WinView is the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends or family members who think they know everything about sports, play them in a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. You want to break the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers, hanging out with your friends? Little WinView contest will mix things up. Like maybe, for instance, you think Kyrie Irving is going to drop 41 points in the first half. More power to you if you thought so. By the way, he said he reached into his Kobe bag last night, so that was fun. So that's what you got right there. So challenge a friend to a family member to a WinView contest. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that they love so much. So download the WinView app right now. How about, ladies and gentlemen, PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Let's jump into our chat check, see how the wonderful people, all the ladies and gentlemen, are doing today. Mally, good morning to you. Mally says, good morning to everybody. Kevin, good morning to you. Ross, what's going on, Ross? Shiloh, I will take Deshaun, and I don't care if anyone hates me for it. Laugh out loud. Shiloh, I'm not mad at you, and I'm not mad at anybody that would want Deshaun Watson. I mean, you want to make your quarterback as best as possible, right? Every single year, you want to have the best possible quarterback. I get it. So I ain't mad. And when it comes to morality, I definitely have morals. And Deshaun Watson, despite not being charged and all that, we'll see what could happen in civil cases and all that. Like, for me, it still seems pretty weird that at least 22 women have a very similar story about the way this man conducted himself in the massage room. So that raises some red flags. Okay. I don't think he's done everything right. I think there's got to be some guilt attributed to him. It's just that if they couldn't bring enough together to convict him in the court of law. So for me, or go to trial, I should say. So for me, I definitely have reservations about it. But if this ends up with nothing happening, no civil cases, which I doubt, I'd be shocked. But if you want him to be the starting quarterback of your team, by really not knowing what type of person you're bringing in, I think that's a risk. I think one does go with the other. Oh, it's football versus how he is as a person. Yeah, I get it. First off, I don't see this guy being some perennial playoff contending quarterback, regardless of what team he's on. Like I said before, I think he's a big stat patter when it comes to the fourth quarter and try to make comeback and all that stuff. But when it comes to everything else, I think that a lot goes there. Like, for instance, other people that have committed offenses, let's just say that, you haven't seen too many successes at the quarterback position in the NFL. So for me, I wouldn't go with Deshaun Watson. And when you have a young quarterback that already got Pro Bowl consideration, already took you to the playoffs, I'd rather see what could develop. And I got 3 first-round picks. I'd rather see how it develops with that young quarterback before I go giving away a lot of those early picks to bring in a guy that I'm not sure is going to have an abundantly successful career in the NFL. But I get you. Is he better? Looking at the two right now, is he better than Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. So that I can't fault people for, but that's where I stand on the whole situation. Sean, good morning. Sean, good morning. Ronald says, Ronald, this is interesting. Matt Ryan, bridge quarterback in Philly. Oh, boy. What, Malvern Prep? Penn Charter. Return to the Philadelphia area? No, that'd be interesting. Ronald says, trade Hurts. I feel like his value is as high as it will ever be. And Ronald, and that's the other side. Jalen Hurts could go in the tank this year. He could be terrible this year. We could be talking about whatever that guy I was talking about, taking a flyer on a quarterback late in the draft. That's what we could be talking about. Bringing in a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, whoever that might be. Baker Mayfield. Like I said, who penned his goodbye letter to Cleveland yesterday. Yeah, it could be. Tobin, what's going on? April, good morning. Tobin, good morning. Ross, no Jalen for me. I knew if I wore the dark shirt today, I was going to get the emo Mark treatment, and April's the first to point it out. Yeah, I guess I'm in mourning today because the Sixers over the last 3 games have died, and hoping they come back. Hey, maybe I'll wear a white shirt tomorrow. Actually, I am changing shirts immediately after this. I have to speak at a school today. I'm speaking at a school career day, which is the first time I've done something like that. A, since COVID, and B, since I entered the full-time digital world. So it's like, hey, kids, say your sports opinions into the air and then pay your mortgage. Like, that's going to be my career advice. That'll be fun. But yeah, emo Mark will not be visiting the kids. It'll be a nice, light. I'll go with the traditional light blue shirt. It's a Catholic school. Maybe I'll wear my old Catholic school uniform. I think the sweater still fits. But yeah. Alyssa, good morning, Alyssa. Dan Schwartz, what's going on? Dan, good morning to everyone. Hey, the Philadelphia domestic abusers, I believe, is the direction the Phillies are going, according to Dan. Tobin, give me KB. Yeah, I love to see it. Baba Boucher says, Mama wants Kris Bryant. Well, Mama is correct. That was more of the ladies' man, Tim Meadows, than it was anything Wooderboy, but you get what I'm saying. Dan Schwartz, if we can't make the playoffs with 14 slots, it's just pathetic, but I won't be surprised. Dan, that's where I'm at. I hate making the playoffs less special. And baseball's long tradition of just the league winners going on to the World Series. Okay, that's a little too elite for me. All right. But like made for TV play-in game drama, NBA, MLB, that's a little much. NFL, 7 teams, that's a little much. Making the playoffs, being one of the elite teams in the regular season should mean something. But here's where they get you. If you're a fan of that team or just the sport in general, you're going to watch postseason. Now, here's the catch for me in baseball. I'm not that big a fan anymore. So joke's on you, baseball. You know, I also thought when I hailed that cab, when I saw that guy hailing the cab yesterday, I thought of some of the cab drivers that I last got in a car with this is years ago. It's been a long time since I've been in a cab. A couple of them would go off on like Uber or Lyft, and they'd ask me if I use them. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, occasionally. You happen to be in the right place at the right time, pal. That's why I'm in your cab. But they're like mad at Lyft and Uber, and I get why. One guy was like flat out, they're taking food out of my family's mouth, that whole thing. And I've come to realize now in further analysis, and after I thought about the person hailing a cab, and then I saw their travel bag, maybe they're going to spring training, and then this is where I went to. So this is the thought process in my Family Guy brain that's all over the place. But just so I walk through the steps. And then it got to, you know what? Baseball thinks they're Uber and Lyft when they're really a cab. That's really where I went. Like, they think they're still vital and important as these other things, like Lyft and Uber, but they ain't close. The world has changed around them, and they're like, no, we can still not shower in 10 days, and we're fine. Yeah, that's kind of what baseball is. Baseball is a taxi cab. That's what it is. And then I got home, and I was like, that's a brilliant point. You should bring that up on tomorrow's show. And now that I say it out loud, I'm like, not as brilliant, but it's kind of brilliant. Anyway, this is what I'll be saying to the nation's youth in a couple hours, folks, when I'm talking to kids on a career day. If you can't make the play, Carter, good morning, Carter. No, hold on. Carter just says, good morning, Alyssa. Does Carter not say good morning to anybody else? Carter does not say good morning to everybody. So there you go. Charlie says, ugh, hate O'Double. I'm not against you on this. Alyssa says, I'm still so mad about O'Double. I agree with you. Looking at a poll question that PJ put out there, producer Jim, 80% of our voting audience wants Kris Bryant, then Nick Castellanos, then Kyle Schwarber. Interesting. Mike Casey, haven't heard them bring up heard they're bringing in O.J. Simpson as a special advisor to the GM. Cool. Mike, good morning. Ronald, what's going on? People laughing at Mike, as I should. Ben Timmons, what's up, Ben Timmons? Baba Boucher, Mama said Kyrie is afraid of a vaccine. We're all having fun here. Alyssa, I'm with you, Mark. Give me my Sixers. Damn right. Henry, is Harden broken? I certainly hope not. And I don't think he is. And Mally, yeah, the bench will probably be our downfall. But here's my issue. They need somebody else on the bench. And I don't think that's just taking away from your starting five because of how Doc Rivers is staggering this lineup, if you will. Like, for instance, if you have Tyrese Maxey in your starting five, and then he plays 5 minutes and he goes on the bench, and then he comes off the bench, like, it's just, look, if they struggle tonight, then I am definitely going to be approaching that panic button. Like, right now, I'm looking at the panic button. The cap is still on it. I'm flicking the cap off tonight and slamming that the panic button if they lose tonight. Then I'll be like, all right, here's what they need. Change the starting five. Change who's coming off the bench initially. Maxey runs the second unit, and that's that. No more Shake Milton, whatever. If that's what it means, that's what it means. But just so you know, oh, there's the panic button. It's right there. Okay. They lose tonight. No, just jump the second, jump the gun, if you will. Good morning, Mark and everyone. Johnny Cheeseborough, April and company. Johnny, there's Johnny. Watson's not coming here. The only team he's meeting up with, those already approved by the Texans. Correct. That is correct. Dan Schwartz, the Kobe bag from Kyrie Irving If the Kobe bag had a vaccine, why on earth isn't it flat? See, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Bobby Boucher says he or Mama don't get the Odubel signing. I get it. I ad-libbed that part. John, what's going on? Early chat check, wasn't prepared for this. Oh yeah, early chat check because I got to go talk at a school today. Remember, even Matt Schaub considered a decent N1. Matt Schaub was considered Schwab. What Schwab? Matt Schaub was considered decent at one point. Falconer Mark is wearing black to honor the memory of Scott Hall. This is actually a dark blue with some, I don't even want to call them pinstripes. Oh, wait. I've had this shirt for like 6 years. I just noticed now they're like stars. I don't really look at my own clothes too much. I don't know if you guys know that. Remember when I'm guessing they didn't run background checks on school speakers. Benny, thank you. April says don't take the penguin to school. I'll leave it back there. I'm not going to use it. I feel like Mark is one of the last people anyone says good morning to on here. I take it when people just say good morning everyone. I assume that's just for me. Hot damn April, I got yelled at for mentioning that thing. What'd you mean? Oh, the penguin. I will not be bringing the penguin to school. That's for sure. Now I got to talk to these kids for like 15 minutes. Happy Gilmore, greater than Bobby Boucher. Ooh, Dan. I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to go with yes. Happy Gilmore, greater than Bobby Boucher. 364 days till hockey tryouts. Got to get tough. Oh, man. Oh. Apparently, Adam Sandler can really crush the ball as Happy Gilmore and says that since he really actually started golfing, it's like just a guaranteed thing. If he's never played at a course before, I think, who did he say this with? It was either Rich Eisen or his boy Dan Patrick. But he said that he can't go out on a new course. If he's on a new course, he's guaranteed that he has to tee off like Happy Gilmore. Sean Gillespie says Waterboy all day. That's interesting. Wow. April says the last time she talked at the career day, I just brought a money counter and 100 ones, and they were fascinated. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a takeoff of a guy. His last name was Rapchinsky. And if you guys remember, I've referenced this guy before, my coach, Al Mayo, in grade school, who made me those for the first Farzy shirts, if you will. He brought in a guest speaker to practice one day. This guy, I want to say his name was Mike Rapchinsky. And through the practice, it was like an hour and a half practice, he spelled his last name. And at the end of the practice, you like for a t-shirt or something, you had to spell his name. I'm just going to ask the kids. When I introduce myself, I'm going to say my name is Mark Albert Farzetta. Ooh, this will really get him. Mark Albert Farzetta, and then go into my whole career thing. And at the end, for a t-shirt, I'll say, what's my middle name? No? Yeah, that's stupid. Anyway, I don't know. Kids are tough. Kids are hard to talk to and stuff. My everyday existence is career day. April, Alyssa, as a teacher, you're probably not far off. There we go. John Cheeseborough, Dan Schwartz going back and forth on Happy Gilmore in a very polite way on Happy Gilmore versus the Waterboy. I'll say it right that time. They both agreed that they're both great movies. So there we go. We call that agreeing to disagree, kind of. But John says you might be right that Gilmore is better. I think Gilmore is better. You eat pieces of crap for breakfast? You eat pieces of crap? No. Anyway. All right. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Much appreciated. Let's move into our morning rush segment brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, historic night in hockey. Tomorrow night will be an historic night for the Philadelphia Flyers. 1,000 games by Claude Giroux. They've started their own website, so you can look at all the Claude Giroux highlights throughout his 1,000 games as a Philadelphia Flyer. I'm sure it will start with Bobby Clark not knowing how to say his name when he was selected in the NHL draft. Oh, I forgot his name. Giroux. Thank you, Bobby. So that's great. But last night, Alexander Ovechkin scored his, let me make sure I get this right, 767th career goal. He is now third all-time behind the great Gordie Howe and obviously the man that leads the pack with 894 goals, Wayne Gretzky. He passed Jaromir Jagr, former Flyer Jaromir Jagr, for third on the all-time list behind Howe and Gretzky. Last night, after he scored his goal, Jagr put this video out there to congratulate Alexander Ovechkin on becoming the third overall.
Alex, the grade 8, congratulations. Now you become the leading NHL goal scorer among European players. But keep scoring, because as you know, I didn't retire from hockey yet. And there is a chance I might come back to NHL and start chasing you.
I don't know if there's an athlete that I have done more of an about face on in my life than Jaromir Jagr. Lifelong Flyers fan. I've always hated the Pittsburgh Penguins. I always hated Jaromir Jagr. And when he signed, and then he played for the Rangers, and when he signed with the Flyers, I halfway through the season, I was just expecting him to peel the Flyers crest off his chest, and a penguin, a big, stupid, ugly, dumbass penguin would be on his chest, and he'd be like, aha! And he'd start scoring goals against the Flyers. But as he helped a guy like Claude Giroux grow and had one of his best years playing with Jaromir Jagr, and then getting to know him through that season, and then a couple of years later when the All-Star game went to the 3-on-3 forum, he tweeted out when he was 40 years old. By the way, Jaromir Jagr's 50 now. I still would have put it past him to come back and play again. But Jaromir Jagr's 50 years old. He's threatening a comeback because Ovi passed him. But he said when they went to the format for the All-Star game of the 3-on-3, and he was voted into the All-Star game because he was having an incredible year, he goes, guys, stop voting for me. I'm 43 years old. The 3-on-3 would kill me. I would die. And I was like, this guy's really funny. And then he tweets that out for Alexander Ovechkin, sends that out to the Washington Capitals for his goal. That was great. Absolutely incredible. No doubt about that. Also, for our morning, I got to it because I was too distracted to not get to it. Yeah, that's what I got for you. All right, today, obviously what we're going to be looking for is the Sixers taking care of business against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's our biggest thing. Sixers hitting the reset button and hopefully getting back to the status that we had saw them get to before this 3-game slide. And even though it's not a 3-game losing streak because they did beat the Magic, even though it's not that, I am looking forward to the Sixers dominating tonight. They're going into tonight at a -4.5 point favorites against the Cavs tonight. I'm all over that. Joel Embiid, 29.5 is what I'm seeing for his over-under tonight. So I am going to be, 30.5 is his over-under tonight. I think he does get 30 points for the Sixers tonight. Tyrese Maxey's in at 16.5. Love to see him get to the 20-point mark. Again, James Harden's at 22.5. I like the overs all around it, to be honest with you, tonight for the Sixers. I want to see them dominate. I want to see them take care of business. And I want to see them win the game, most importantly, above all else, but do so in a timely fashion so they can give Joel Embiid a little bit of break at the end of this game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, wish me luck as I talk to the nation's youth today in my home county of Bucks County. So I'll be going back to there after the show today. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. This is the Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Coming to you live every day from the Steven Singer Studios. Friday's show. We'll be talking a little bit more Sixers with our friend Danny Palmells from NBC Sports Philadelphia. So I look forward to that. Tomorrow, I look forward to breaking down a little bit more Eagles news. And hopefully we'll give you guys some more information on what they could be doing in the not too distant future. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Go Sixers. 10-9-8-76ers, baby. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.